and it took me a little while to we'll talk about the BISD race because I think that that's important. But the we only have seven fire ambulances here in the city of Brownsville. Someone literally
Six
stole
now.
six now. Literally stole one of our ambulances and took it into Matamoros. What's your take on us losing an ambulance?
Yeah, I my cousin Georgie send it to me, and then I looked on your page. It's just very interesting. It's gonna be funny to learn, I guess, once the dash cam comes out or the body cam comes out, how this individual managed to. Um, Wait, was he being arrested or he was just being transported for? It's not known right now, right?
No,
But
but
eventually it became a pursuit. Obviously, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe he was called in for some sort of medical emergency. He probably flipped out, took over. I don't know what he had in his mind, but it just the whole dynamics of it is very very interesting. It looks like a movie. Honestly, it really does. Crossing over international boundaries. Did they end up catching the guy? I know that
no,
the police end up managing finding obviously the vehicle, but
yes,
I don't think they found the guy. So
no. You know,
it's out of a movie, really.
it, there's a lot of questions, and up to this moment, there's a lot of questions like, how did you have access to the ambulance? The individuals that actually had the ambulance, are they okay? Uh, what did he pick it up from the lot? Did he hot wire it? It doesn't seem like it was hot wired, and it was one of our newer units. Those things are mega expensive, Frankie. I mean, easily they cost. I would dare say close to $200,000. Rumor has it the ambulance was being cleaned and someone got in it. Well, if it's being cleaned, did they took have the keys in there?
Erasmo, I'm just I guess um, thinking ahead of it, but in my opinion, this unit was probably downtown, and that is why the individual managed to get to the border so quickly. Is it fair to assume that? Because we obviously don't know where the ambulance was being, cleaned,
Service.
As Mr. Castillo says. Was it? There's another one off of by Coffeeport and Price. That's the closest, no, or is it West Brownsville over here by Martin? So what happened was that this individual took it from the downtown fire station. Oh, from Southmost. Okay, Southmost and the border. Okay, that makes sense. That's close.
I
Um,
actually, I actually
Crazy.
thought it was going to be closer here, like the fire station that we have downtown. Or closer to the police department unit. There was just a lot of questions out there that didn't have an answer to. Este, didn't have an answer to. So I think it's just completely amazing, that all that would happen.
Yeah, it's like one of those. It's like one of those Sicario movies, where they steal a vehicle and they cross it over and thing goes crazy. But if they didn't find the individual, that's the even worse part, uh, because I'm sure obviously los, but I'm surprised it didn't get shot down.
Well, I mean, I think it just caught everyone by surprise.
Yeah,
You're seeing an amp. Okay, first of all, I read that they were there to render medical aid to him, and he took it. Guess it was left run. I mean, right now we don't know. We need a little bit more information, a little bit more clarity. A lot of people are speculating out there. I actually saw a post where someone was trying to sell it for $4,000. Do you see that in a market?
no, but but I'm sure once it's over there,
Well,
they'll get
it's.
it.
I mean, again, I'm going to say it's close to 200,000 to a quarter of $1 million unit. Because of the unit, the speed, the motor, the accessories that are added onto it. I mean, it's not a cheap. Ambulances aren't cheap, but a lot of questions. First of all, it wound up, Frankie, in a cemetery allá para rumbo a la playa de Matamoros. So I mean, that's a huge
That's
distance.
far. Yeah.
That's far. It would take me like 25 minutes, and I speed. It would take me like 25 minutes to get that far. So the guy went all the way over there, jumping the bumps and everything. Because, the videos out there were jumping the bumps and everything. And, people, security were like rushing after it. People on the American side, they can't go over there. The police can't go over there. Once it's crossed, it's in the hands of the Mexican law enforcement. And I don't know if you walked across the bridge, Frankie. I go there every day. I actually have to be there at 10 o'clock this morning. But Frankie, when you see it, you see that it's not easy getting over those damn bumps. There's always only one lane. But this guy, Frankie, he didn't go through the lane de la gente que está esperando. He went through one of those non-working lanes.
Is this Los Tomates?
No, Gateway Bridge.
Old Bridge?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So by Gateway Bridge, there's usually always only one lane, donde pasas para ver los oficiales, to get luz verde or luz roja. There's only one. This guy went through one of those that que no está, that's got an X on it that you're not supposed to use, that you can't use. He just went straight down through it. And I don't know if you've been there recently, but they're starting to add those spikes to the ground. Those spikes that can come up and make a barrier. I mean, I this past week I was seeing how they were like putting them on. Pues this guy se adelantó before they could put the spikes. Se arrancó, man, and went all the way to a cemetery allá para fuera de la playa. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is, most cemeteries are outside the city limits. They're allá para afuera. So, because cuando dijo allá carretera rumbo a la playa, dije, well, it could have been anywhere down Lauro Villar. No, this guy went straight in there. Now, it got to the point, I think they decided to drop it off. I don't know. I think someone said that it was damaged to one side. So it's just a lot of speculation. But it's an interesting story. Sí parece novela. Parece one of those movies like Get Away in an Ambulance type of situation. It's good. Frankie, have you heard anything in regards to the local politics?
Not really. I've been honestly staying away from that as of late. Just you were talking about earlier the BISD races. That's already starting to get steam after summer. It's when it starts ramping up. We're less than 100 days away? 100 days away, more or less.
95, 94 days away
from election. So it's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna the dynamics of the board is really at stake. We have 4 positions, if I'm not mistaken, that are currently up. So that should shift the balance in one way or another. But it's gonna be very interesting, the BISD races.
Well, and Martin was making a reference to my race. There's already 4 of us in there. That's very good for me. That is very good for me. I'm hoping that at least one more person goes in there. Preferably 2 more people get in that race. If one more person, 2 people go out there and enter that race, it's going to be like a five-man race or 5 individual race. Let me tell you, that works very good for us, folks. If we all come together and we all vote the right way, so Erasmo Castro way, and I am able to carry my base, I think we're going to do very, 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 very well. So I'm praying that at least one more person goes in there. If 2 or 3 go in there, Frankie, me muero. I'm going to hit you up for a campaign donation.
We'll do chicken plates.
Let me.
The other interesting one for me is all of them, honestly, all of them are interesting when you really look at it, because they've already lined themselves up. It's going to be again Leal against Peña. Um,
They have an opponent.
oh, do they?
Yes, if and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Minerva and Marisa already have someone that has filed or is going to file in that race.
Another
I,
female?
I think it's another female. Again, I might be wrong, but I think that that's what I heard that they Marisa was going to have another opponent in her race. That's going to be interesting because again, the number of votes that separated Minerva and Marisa wasn't superbly high.
11, no?
Very very small. Well, not in this race. This race, Marisa took it uh, with a good number,
Initially, yeah, yeah.
but not a great number, and it changes that dynamics. And again, uh, to Marisa, again, be prepared for this. That Minerva might just want to put one or two more people in there, just in order to draw individuals away from Marisa. Now, there has been some criticism of Marisa. I think our friend Dr. Maggie has been out
Maggie.
there, has gone out there and stated that Marisa has been too quiet. And a lot of people have said the same thing, too quiet. And again, I told folks, and people got pissed off at me when I said it. I said, guys, she just started. You know,
Yeah.
it's a different dynamic. And one of the things that I think people don't understand is that, and I think Martin can relate or will agree that when you're first in there, sometimes you think the expectations or what you think is like, oh, I'm going to go in there and change the world. It's not like that. It's really like a game. And unfortunately for us, we sometimes don't get enough individuals on that board that actually can make a change. Frankie, you were mentioning the dynamics of the race. This could sway the 4-3. Well, right now, a lot of people seem to think it's 5-2. I really think it. I like Marisa. I've known Marisa for many years. I'm going to believe that Marisa is still an independent thinker and is not going to be swayed this way or that way by loyalties to individuals on that board. I'm going to keep that opinion until I am proven incorrect. Keep that opinion until I'm proven incorrect. So I'm going to think that Marisa will still be an independent thinker. But if another individual gets into that race, it's going to be interesting because, again, would they be taking votes away from Marisa because of their dissatisfaction in regard to what they think they should be doing? Or will they take away votes from Minerva?
Yeah, a third candidate in that race is going to change the whole dynamics of it. Um, I like the other races, and I anticipate Caballero and Gonzalez having another opponent. I think there is still time. The Daniela Valdez Nelda Rocha race is going to be interesting too. This race, honestly, and again, it seems as if every race, but uh, BISD as a whole, they could decide, who they're gonna vote for. It's interesting to see already the players, the candidates, who's gonna be aligning. Is there already board members favoring certain candidates in certain races?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's the ticket gonna be? Um, closer we get to the debate, the closer we get obviously to early voting, we'll start seeing people align and say, these are our candidates. Vote for them.
Well, sorry, I should have muted. Well, let me say, I've been animando Nelda to run for years now, and again, this is, I think, what a lot of people need to understand. I'm not out there saying, oh, Nelda's going to be my candidate. What I'm trying to say is, I want individuals out there that are not going to align with everybody else. And that's what everyone in the city of Brownsville needs to want to happen. I don't want individuals that are going to be aligning with the 4 or with the 2 or with the 1. I want individuals that are going to be independent thinkers. And I'm going to truly believe that Nelda will not be one of those individuals that gets swayed back and forth. I still have hopes that Marisa is one of those individuals that won't be swayed back and forth, but will vote and do the right thing. That's all you want them to do. Just do the damn right thing. If you're doing the right thing, you don't have to have favors owed to other individuals on that damn board. The other thing that's going to come into question, again, that's that race, the Victor Caballero race, my race. My race is interesting already. Again, one more person goes in there, two more people go in there. It's going to be freaking amazing. Um, Let me say one of the things that a lot of individuals is to have to keep in mind. Also, what individuals are already aligning with the BISD vendors, Frankie? Because again, one of the things that we all saw, Tim played the game. Tim Ramirez, and again, Tim's a friend. I love Tim, but in the short time that he was there, he aligned with the majority without ever going out there and saying, well, this is what I believe. I mean, just aligned with the majority. And that's one of the things, I guess, uh the loyalty there was to the individuals that appointed him to replace Minerva Peña. Now, saw a picture where he was out there, with Gutierrez out there in McAllen. Again, I'm not bitching about the photograph. What I'm trying to say is, did Tim manage to get enough individuals out there that are going to be throwing out there that vendor money, Frankie, and help the campaign out? Again, I have not received a single phone call from any vendor out there, and I don't care to either, because at the end of the day, any individual that goes on the board does not need to be embed with a current vendor or with those individuals that want to be hopeful vendors into BISD. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic. Now, do a lot of people think that Erasmo Castro will not have an effect on this race? You better believe I'm going to have an effect on this race. I'm already got the graphic designers doing the graphics for the signs. I'm going to be putting up signs. I'm going to be knocking on doors. Going to go do kiss the babies and shake the hands. And, well, one's going to be good. But going to be taking care of business this time around. It's going to be interesting. An interesting.
As it always is. But there's a lot of money invested in BISD. So hopefully the candidates that ultimately prevail, hopefully each and every one of them goes in with a clean slate, and always put the community, the district, the staff, more importantly, at the forefront. Unfortunately, that's not the way it goes. So that's what I'm looking forward to in each of these races, to see where everybody aligns, to see if there is going to be that either change of the majority of the board, because what we've seen from these past three and a half years has been deficits. As much as the majority likes to blame the governor, we're in the red. Recently, Congressman Vicente Gonzalez allocated, I want to say 30 million, 35 million to BISD alone. That's a lot of money. So hopefully these individuals, they do come in with the right mindset, without any alliances or favors owed to anyone in general.
Well, again, and as Martin says, it's going to be a presidential election. People are going to come out. One of the other things that's going to work in our favor is name recognition. So again, it's just a lot of little pluses going our way. I made mention about vendors, Frankie, because there's going to be an interesting race. An interesting meeting this week at the city hall. They're going to vote on limiting the access of city commissioners to vendors. They're going to discuss it and talk about it. So it's going to be an interesting agenda item. I'm going to look it up today and probably talk more about it tomorrow. But want to actually might be interested in going to that meeting because it's important. A lot of individuals don't understand that vendors at times sway the minds and the hearts of a lot of our elected officials to go one way or the other. That's the issue with BISD. And unfortunately, it has been brought to the attention of the city commission. So I don't know if the city of Brownsville put that agenda item on there, or if there was a certain commissioner out there that starting to see how a lot of these individuals are lining up with the vendors. And look, nothing against, it's just part of the game that they play. It's like a lot of times that these city commissioners sponsor these events, Frankie. We all know that they don't pay for those events.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. They're donations, they're gifts, and they openly I would dare say openly they openly encourage vendors to take part in whatever they're trying to fulfill. I personally, um, I personally don't see anything wrong with vendors. The issue is always the board members because when I first got into politics, I always thought, oh, it's bad to take money from vendors. It's not necessarily bad to take money from vendors because why? You need money to um, address the masses. You need to promote yourself, your platform, what you're all about. Where it becomes a problem, in my opinion, is whenever those donations come with conditions. I'd like to think that individuals are able to, you know, walk that line. But unfortunately, all we've heard from South Texas, from BISD as of late, we've had a former board member that was arrested. That's not the case. That big pockets, big dollars are controlling these elections. So it's going to be interesting to see how the city of Brownsville addresses this. Um, we've had a candidate that recently raked in 100K, allegedly 100K for a golf tournament. Golly, that's a lot of money. So it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds.
It's going to be interesting because again, my question is, who is sponsoring this agenda item? Is it the city of Brownsville?
Is the agenda's already out for tomorrow?
Oh yeah, it has to be. Yeah, it has to be up 72 hours before. So the agenda's already up. So if you can check it out, if you can find out, I haven't had the chance to go in there, but who put this agenda item up there? And again, I'm going to think it's the big race. Uh,
De los Santos?
eh?
De los Santos?
Los Santos now de Los Santos.
You think De los Santos and second by Martinez?
Yes. Did Los Santos put it up there or encourage it out there because of the $100,000 golf tournament type of situation where, again, a lot of vendors, as they donate, that's a crap load of money? Or did Pedro Cardenas put it out there because Commissioner de Los Santos is already out there being sponsored at different events, like the one at Broken Sprocket, which was paid, I think, by a light company or something, or this backpack one that they had this weekend, Frankie, where supposedly it was Sombrero Fest sponsoring backpacks down southmost at Lopez Ranch, aligned with the city of Brownsville and Brian Martinez. So, which one of the camps, encouraged this item to be placed up, or was it just the city of Brownsville seeing how already, Frankie, it's not, I mean, already these individuals, I mean, for me, it's just super early that they're already, going out there and putting their deduction order. But it's just interesting. And I wanted to see if Commissioner Los Santos would mind coming on maybe tomorrow or Wednesday and answer, or let us know, where they're at and what is actually going on. Frankie is right. Make no promises. You can't. And unfortunately for us, Martin, and again, we've seen it in Brownsville, they make a lot of promises. And this is one of the reasons why vendors are very frugal, very splendid, muy splendidos in handing out donations. As long as no one gets consequences, they will continue to fight amongst themselves por el saqueo. Again, it's a moneymaker. And I don't care what anyone out there says. If you're that type of politician, you rake in the bucks, huge bucks, big bucks, no whammies. Stop.
No whammies, no whammies.
So it just depends on how the agenda item reads. If you could go look for it, if you have time, that'd be great. I actually have to go get to work, but I'd like to see the agenda item. I'd like to see who sponsored it, and let's have a conversation. If you could put up a post, I'll share your post, Frankie. Because
Public hearing, first reading, elections in general of the Code of Ordinance to adopt the Municipal Campaign Finance Code.
that one.
That one's probably sounds, but it's just a discussion summary, the campaign funding amount,
Vendor.
local contribution, attachment ordinance from the. No, it didn't say anything about vendor. Let me see. The city attorney. The campaign finance law regulates the exceptions, expenditures, and reports regarding money in political campaigns by candidates. Candidates, office holders, are required to file reports of contributions. And I think this is just no. This is must be Pedro Cardenas, Commissioner Cardenas, since he hasn't filed. I'm thinking. I guess I'll look at it. Unless it's that one, or maybe it is that one because that's the only one on the agenda.
It's going to be interesting, but I think the back story on it is because of the vendors, and they want part of the discussion is going to be limit the contact that commissioners and mayors can have with vendors. It's going to be an interesting one. I might actually go to that meeting just to hear them out, just to hear what they have to say. What else is going on this week, Frankie, besides the stock market going to crap?
That's crazy. I hate to say this, but I think there is going to be a lot of obviously there is a lot of uncertainty going on in the world. It's been going like that for the last 3 weeks. We've had an attempted assassination attempt on President Trump. Shortly after, Biden announces that he's not going to be running. Kamala Harris steps in as the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. We've seen Japan, Korea, other world markets collapse. Crypto yesterday, but I don't think it's a time to panic. As weird as it sounds, this is normal. There's always a few players with billions and billions of dollars that control the markets. Warren Buffett just recently sold 50% of his stock from Apple, and that pretty much just caught everybody by surprise. So he has a lot of cash, and as we all know, cash is king. But it's just going to be interesting, Erasmo, because I think that everyone anticipates that there's a war coming. So that, in my opinion, is the reason why there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. Also, because of fluffed up numbers that this current administration has been producing for the past 2 or 3 years, it's unsustainable. We depend a lot on Japan. Once Japan collapsed, we're not looking good. So I honestly think that we are closer to war, and that's a scary thing.
JJ brings up the other point that I'm glad he reminded me. Cameron County commissioners are going to be voting on giving themselves another raise, Frankie.
Yeah, it always seems that's the case. The main point that I want to make on this is Sheriff Eric Garza went before them numerous times asking that he needed more funding for his department. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll admit if I'm wrong. But each and every time they said that no, there was no funds available.
No cash. Hello? Did you freeze or did I freeze? Did you go berserk? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
There he is.
For me, it was just very bad, bad timing. But again, do people run for politics because they do want to improve a quality of life? They should go into, on their own instead of having to rely on taxes to get more money. And what bothers me is that their excuse is always, oh well, we need to be competitive with other counties. Other counties are paying X amount of dollars, and we're not competing with them, so to speak. So that's the only thing that bothers me. People go into public office because they want to have, they want to improve quality of life, not because they want to become rich, in my opinion.
Well, these guys are making us so rich. We'll talk more about the raises tomorrow. It's just interesting. And one of the things that I heard most of all was, you mentioned Eric Garza wanting more money for his department. A lot of our deputies out there, Cameron County deputies, they're getting paid crap. And a lot of jailers out there, compared to other counties. Why is it that we're not being as competitive in that sense, but we want to be competitive para los políticos, I think Frankie's having internet issues. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow morning to talk about the raises and talk about this vendor thing once we get a little bit more information in regards to everything. Thanks for coming on, Frankie. Yeah, he's gone. Guys, have a great day. Be back tomorrow, 9 o'clock. We're back, and appreciate your patience with us. Be good to each other. Continue good to me. God bless. Thanks, Frank.